Good morning. My name is Sarah Dean, and I serve as the president of the South Coast Interfaith Council. We are a council that serves 140 faith communities across the South Bay and Long Beach. Today, I'm here to share a very special program called Custodians of Care, Helping the Helpers. So as our community has been deeply impacted by the pandemic, we've really learned the diversity of our community in that different groups of our community are affected by the pandemic in very different ways. The pandemic looks different for different individuals and families. Yes, for some families, it might just look like staying indoors and dealing with isolation and loneliness and depression. And for other people, it's a very real problem of how are they going to get their next meal in. For some people, it means not having safe distance from someone who might be causing them harm. So we're going to attempt every week to highlight one group and how we can help meet their needs and hold them together in community. So, and as we've talked about before, most of our faith traditions call upon us to keep our hearts receptive to the plight of the other, of the most vulnerable. And every week, I'm excited to share one faith tradition on this topic. Today, I am honored to share a tradition from one of the world's oldest continuously practicing religions, the Zoroastrian faith. Zoroastrians rely upon the teachings of their prophet, Zarathustra, from over 3,000 years ago in the region of what is now known as Iran and Afghanistan. And I'd like to thank my dear friend, Mobid Manik Bujwala. He helped put this together for me. So he explained to me that there's a prayer that Zoroastrians recite often in their daily prayers. I'm going to try to say it correctly, Yatta Ahuvaryo. And this liturgy is recited in their daily prayers. And I'm going to share a translation that he gave me for one section relating to our topic today. And here it is. Both the temporal leaders and religious leaders who are righteous will get the blessing of the good mind. The kingdom of God comes when and where the needy people are given help. So thank you so much, Manik Pujwala, for sharing that tradition with us. And it's just such a beautiful thing to see how throughout the history of civilization, humans have always sought to understand the world around them, to understand the greater presence that they might feel within themselves and in their relationships. With that, I'm so excited to introduce you all today to Mike. Mike, how do you pronounce your last name? I should have asked. What, sorry?
Radice.
Radice.
Yeah.
Mike serves as the Director of Development at Harbor Interfaith Services in San Pedro. Mike, how are you today?
I'm fine. How are you?
Hanging in there, aren't we? Yeah. I really appreciate you taking out the time. I know you're very busy because you guys are you're an essential service and you guys are still serving the community, and we are so grateful and we're happy we can share a little bit of your work today. Can you please tell us a little bit about what your organization does for the community? And if you can especially address, I noticed on your website, it says empowering the homeless and the working poor. Most of us are familiar with the term homeless, but working poor is something we don't think about often. Can you tell us a little bit about the community you serve?
Yeah, what we mean homeless and working poor, everybody knows who that is, but we also have a mission to help people who are in danger of becoming homeless. Because suddenly, oh my gosh, they have to be out of their house, at the end of this month or something, or so, we help them as well. So we have both services and funds to help them sometimes actually stay where they are, or to find something new. So we want to prevent these people from having to be in the homeless situation to begin with. But in addition to providing those sorts of services, which of course includes case management, the clients come to us and we sit down with them, we listen to their story, and then we create a plan with them, outlining all the needs they have to keep themselves and their family secure, and looking for sources of income, making sure they have medical insurance, clothing, food, and working on housing for whatever period of time it takes to get there. So that's how it begins. But we're unique because we have a lot of wraparound services here that a lot of agencies don't have. We have food, for example. Now it's not, it's boxed and canned food. something they've got to take home. But if you don't have a home, we do have other sources of boxed and canned food, can openers and things, so that they can supply for themselves. But we also have clothing. We have a computer lab, so they get on the internet, apply for jobs, communicate with people. They can use a phone line service we have here for them. If they don't have a phone, they can get their mail here. And we do have housing. We have a 90-day family shelter. We have transitional housing for homeless families where the head of household is going to go to college or something for a period of time and earn a degree so that they can earn enough income to afford housing and keep their family stable. And we have interim housing and permanent supportive housing for single adults. So we have a lot of options. We have a menu of things. If there's something we don't provide, we do have subcontractors and other services, and we refer the people to those services such as mental health and other places. We will drive them there. We will make arrangements for the appointment. If they need a driver's license, we'll pay for it. So we just make sure that whatever is in that plan, that we get them where they need to go so that they can stabilize their lives and become permanently housed and on their way.
Now, I'm sure there's, it's probably hard to describe a typical client, but I'm guessing you serve a very wide range of families. Some might have children. Can you tell us a little bit about, and maybe about how wide your impact is? How many people do you guys generally serve or, meet the needs of?
Yeah, well, last year we served a little over 8,600 people.
Wow.
Now, we are the lead service provider of homeless services for the entire South Bay. And we have offices in several locations, including in Long Beach and the beach communities and Inglewood. So although we're headquartered in San Pedro and we were born here, we're actually covering the entire South Bay. And a lot of the sections of that, especially when you're looking at Inglewood and some of the Los Angeles city communities, Wilmington, at some, pretty high rates of poverty in them. And so a lot of our populations are there, but, we have people who become homeless in Manhattan Beach. We had a senior couple, both of them who were working, who lost their jobs and then lost their house. And they were living in Rolling Hills Estates. And so they were living in their car, and we have street teams, and one of our street team members spotted them in the car. They know what that looks like and approached them. And we were able to put them in a mobile home sort of camp thing. And that's where they're living now as they're finding employment and stabilizing themselves. So it is just everywhere. It's a single mom, it's the college students. We serve a lot of college students, and we have case managers assigned just to that age population. And we have one who works on the campuses in relationships. So, and the senior population, when I first began here 4 years ago, was 11% of who we served, and now it's almost 1 out of 4. So it is really everybody.
How many caseworkers do you have to handle such a wide population?
Yeah, that's hard. What is a case manager? So it's about 45.
Okay.
Just sort of depending, some of them have a variety of tasks, and some of it's case management, and some of it's all case management. And recently we added a new facility, a new housing facility for single adults, and that added 10 people. And so, but yeah, we're 70 employees, and around 45 of them are that sort of direct contact, one-on-one with clients.
For those who aren't familiar with social work, can you describe what a caseworker does a little bit, and how they're actually, I have a lot of people mentioning that they're interested in doing that line of work. So what does it take to become a caseworker, and what does the work entail?
Okay, well, the work entails one-on-one contact with the client to identify what the problems are and to be able to attach them to solutions. So they need to know, what is available in the community that will help them with their specific problems. Now, it's done in a non-judgmental way, and it's what the client wants. But they don't know where all those services and resources are. So it's our job to know all of those and make the connections and put hands together. But we also provide support. This is enough to, okay, bye, here's the stuff you need. It's like, oh, I'm going to follow up with you in a couple of days to see how you're doing. Or, yes, I will listen to that story about, your mother and whatever else. So it provides that sort of inner ingredients, that sort of makes everything work, so they don't feel, that they're at an institutional machine. So so each day, that's what they're doing with those clients. And of course, they also do, they maintain data and file records, so that we can monitor and track what we're doing. But also so that, they have an understanding of whether or not these people are meeting their goals, yes or not. What do I have to do that's differently? Oh, look, maybe we need to do this. So there's a monitoring process of that. Now, to become a case manager, it kind of depends. Most of our case managers, well, they all come with experience. It's really tough to help somebody if you don't know what to do. So we make sure most of them have college degrees in it or some sort of related field, and some experience, but others are also what we call lived experience. So they have been homeless or been in these situations themselves. So they know firsthand. They're still going to come to us with some experience, of course, but they don't all have college degrees, and it's a college degree to have gone through the experience. Those also help them express more empathy because they can feel it.
Right.
Not that another case manager couldn't feel it, but they really do because it happened to them.
Wow. And I like what you said. It's about helping or working with the client, sounds like, to articulate a plan that's directed by the client themselves.
Yeah, by the client.
You want to honor the agency of that person and their right for self-determination within the construct of the society we live in, of course, but yeah, that's wonderful. How has the pandemic affected the community that you serve? What changes have you noticed, or what have you guys felt? And then how's it impacted your ability to meet the community's needs?
Well, there's been an uptake in food demand. We have a food pantry, as I mentioned earlier. And there's been a huge uptake in that, especially started when food became scarce. It was interesting because it was scarce for the clients, and then it became scarce for us because that food pantry relies on community donations. And we had decided, at least initially, to stop community donations because, at the recommendation of the county, but, just for the health aspect of that and just wanting to be cautious, limiting the campus to clients and others. But, when we saw that happening, then we had to do something. So, we are now accepting food donations, and we have an internal safety system for receiving those. So that has come back a little bit, but maybe we might have gotten 20 donations, 10, 15 donations a day, and now we're like 1. So we are having to spend funds on the food. We decided that rather than not provide food, we would just have to buy food. Of course, we didn't budget for that. We do have some funds, for that come from government agencies, but that's a minority of what we offer, and it's beans, sort of things. But fortunately, a lot of the local foundations reached out to us immediately. My email box in one day had 4 offers to help. And so, I jump on those. And so, one of the special thanks to the California Community Foundation and the Long Beach Community Foundation, and some others who are still considering us, and so they have provided funds so that we can purchase the food. Of course, then you go out and you try to buy the food, but it's not available. And then there's certain types of things we need for the homeless population that we take to them out in the streets that you can't buy, because Amazon is down and whatever. So, we've been trying to negotiate that and letting people, know what we need. But another area that was impacted was our childcare center. Normally, with maybe 55 kids there at any one time, I mean, it could serve up to 80, but generally the average population is that. That dropped. And it dropped for 2 reasons. Number one, because so many of our working parents were no longer working because the types of jobs they're working, the restaurant work, the retail work, they're not doing, they're closed. So they had to pull their kids out. Now, we do have a reduced fee, and there's a period of time when the kids can go for free. We loosened that a little bit, but then, those parents would rather have their children home with them, certainly, and that's understandable. And then, of course, there were some that were just, afraid. So we do have children here, including an uptick in employing children because their childcare centers across the region closed, and so there are very few open, and we are one of them, fortunately. So there's that, an issue with that. And plus, we have employees and they're still employed. And we because those are professionals and we pay them. So now of course we put into place certain cleaning standards and mask wearing. I'm not wearing one now because I'm in my office, but if I leave my office, I wear one. Hand washing stations, little white boxes all over the place saying, don't come any closer than this, so, and, people are doing a pretty good job and with that, to keep everybody, healthy and safe. So there has been just recently, hopefully it continues, there were a lot of folks like yourself in your community who automatically gave. We did have somebody show up with a $10,000 check. Now, for a development director who's sitting there going, oh my God, what is going to happen? I wanted to hug her. I couldn't,
Oh, goodness.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness. That's a wonderful gift.
Yeah, we had 50 online donations in a week. We never had 50 in a week. We had 50 in a month, but never in a week. So now that's going to fall off because eventually people give, well, I give and I'm done,
Right.
but the need is going to be here for a while. But it's nice to have, as a development director or anyone else here, it's really nice to see that sort of support and appreciation. So I think I answered all your questions.
Yeah, and that's a common struggle with nonprofits. I know for us, you'll see a peak around the holidays because people want to do charitable giving during holidays, but surviving the dry months for us, for the Interfaith Council, the summer is our driest season, which of course this year will be ever so much more challenging. If people are interested in dropping off food, what's the safest way for them to what kind of food items are you guys looking for, or hygiene items, and how can they drop them off?
Yeah, you would bring them around to the back of the building, to the loading dock, not the front door.
How do you access that?
I'm sorry, what?
How do you access that?
Oh, I'm sorry. It's the alley behind the building. We're at 9th and Gaffey, and there's a Starbucks on the corner. Thankfully, employees love that. And then, and there's, yeah, we still use it too. And there's an alley behind the Starbucks, and that takes you back there, and it brings you into kind of a covered loading dock area. Now, a lot of people, rather than come inside that loading dock area, are choosing to park on the street, and that's fine. But you can either, call me in advance so I can meet you down there, and then I will come out to your car and I will get the things and I will bring it in. Or you can then walk over to the door buzzer and ring it, and then the front desk will notify us, and we will come there and we will take care of everything for you. So there's nothing you need to do, and you don't have to come inside or anything like that. So that's been our system, and then we just keep safe distance, and we do all the lifting and the carrying ourselves, so that there isn't trouble with that.
Some people asked me if they can have items delivered through, I don't know, through a retailer, delivered directly to your facility. Is that okay?
Yes, yeah, and people are doing that, and we do appreciate that. So that's fine. Now, you had also asked what we need. So we seem to be able to, buy, canned tuna and canned beans, but the types of things we need are peanut butter. A lot of things that I hear, because I'm not a peanut butter eater, but I hear that parents are complaining they can't get that. So, so if you can find that, that's good. Some sort of pasta, rice, and then I guess for the people on the street, they need the individual sort of container foods, like the cups of fruit and those cup of noodles and things like that. So we take those out to the street because they're individual servings. They don't need a can opener. We provide them with what they need. So and those are so those are the types of things that have the highest need. We don't need any. We don't normally give our clients sort of fresh things, and we're especially concerned about that now because they arrive and where have they been, and and some of those you don't peel and some you do. So we're trying to keep it as safe as possible. But it's just boxed and canned sorts of items.
Is there any other way aside from contributing these items? Is there anything else community members can do to support your work?
Yeah, money. Well, you have the development director. For those of you viewers who don't know, this is the money office. So if you ever ask a development director, and you notice I didn't ask for money first, I usually do that. So
you're a good development officer.
Yeah, I work on that. Yeah, but we will need to continue to buy food for a while, and we did not budget for that, and we don't want to take funds away from something else to pay for it, which is what we had been doing. We appreciate all the support we've gotten in this few weeks or so, but eventually that's going to fall off. So, and which is fine, but so there would need to be some continuation of income to purchase that food. So they can mail us a check in the mail. Some people have dropped off a check. You can also go to harborinterfaith.org and click donate now, and you can donate online. So, that's a need. And, people have given us $25, $10, $10,000. If you want $1 million is fine. That would last for a while. There is no minimum or maximum.
We're going to put up your mailing address and your drop-off site and your website at the end of the video. But for anyone who's visually impaired, can you please share your address?
Oh, yes. It's 670 West 9th Street, San Pedro, California, 90731. And if you're dropping off food, the alley is between 8th and 9th, so behind the building. The front of the building is on 9th. Yeah, we do have other facilities. We have several buildings across the region, but this is the building that receives things.
Now, what if somebody who's watching this right now is themselves at the brink? I know several people who have lost their paycheck and maybe they've got another week left of being able to purchase groceries, or maybe they can eke out one more month of rent. But for those people, how do they connect with your services or similar services in the area? Okay.
Well, they can call us at 310-831-0603. So that's 310-831-0603. And then explain the situation, and then they can be connected, with a case manager. And we are doing intakes on the phone right now. There will be some documentation and whatnot, but that can be shared by PDF or whatever. They can also come in. So they could come into that address, and they may have to go to a different building on the campus, but they would come to that address, between 9 and 5, and then we would direct them on where to go from there. It often helps if they go to the website first to take a look at what are some of the income qualifications and forms and things they need to bring. They can come without any paperwork whatsoever or any forms, and we can still sign them up. But things move a lot quicker when you bring everything with you that you have.
Sure.
Yeah. So.
And how much? Suppose I come in today, or I call in today, and I have the appropriate documentation and records. About how much time does it take before I'm able to get some food, or if I need to get rent money? What can I expect as a processing time?
Well, the food would be, immediate. Once we sign you up as a client, the things like the food and the computer lab, all those things are instant. But the things you have to apply for can take time because there's, income eligibility criteria, and then, we do apply for you. Things are done online or otherwise, and so they're submitted, and then it's whatever period of time it takes for that stuff to be reviewed on the other end, and then for us to be told, yes or no, and then we contact you, and then you come in, or by phone, we make all those arrangements. So it depends a lot on the program, or whatever, just how long it takes. I mean, we've had people who have walked in who, have, lost their housing, and they're housed in 2 weeks. And, we've had people who come in and it's several months. It just depends on so many factors.
Mike, is there anything else you would like to share with us today?
Oh, well, just that I just really appreciate, this opportunity. I've appreciated all the opportunities I've had, but this one is good because people can actually, see me speak, which isn't anything about me. It's more about, it's easier for you to connect to the emotion of something and want to do something if you can see a person. So, thank you for this, opportunity, for spreading this word. And I think, the needs, you know what those are. And you could always check back with us. I'd also recommend that they check, folks can check on the website periodically. I just updated it again with something because what's happening changes so frequently. Now, what I do suggest for people at some point, these sort of rent laws that are letting people live where they are without paying rent are going to conclude. And now they've got to pay their rent. And so it kind of, I'm trying to follow this in the paper. It depends on where you live, on what the laws are. If you're in Los Angeles County and on unincorporated county property, they're pretty flexible. You can live somewhere for a year. If you're in Los Angeles City, not so much. If you're in Rolling Hills, they might not have a law at all. But our case managers will know that. But just know that as soon as you smell trouble, reach out to us right then and there. Because if you wait, who knows what's going to happen. You want to get in now.
Thank you. Thank you, Mike. I also just want to thank you. You know, we're all functioning with a certain level of fear and anxiety of the unknown because this is uncharted territory for us. And so many of us have that instinct to just kind of curl up and stay in our little cocoons. But you're coming out to work every day to think about the needs of other people, to serve other people. So I just really want to thank you for doing that and putting yourself out there for the sake of the community. This virus has really shown us how we are all really one human body. We are not separated by paperwork or by borders and walls of any kind. Just pretending that the other person doesn't exist doesn't work. So I really appreciate people like you who have always felt that way and have been there as connectors between people within the community. So thank you so much for doing what you do year round and especially nowadays. I want to thank everyone who's watching today. I want to encourage everyone to visit the website for Harbor Interfaith Services in San Pedro. We will put up their website at the end of this video. Please also continue to follow us at the South Coast Interfaith Council. As I mentioned earlier, every week we'll be highlighting a local nonprofit that's continuing to meet the needs of our most vulnerable members of our community through our Custodians of Care series. I want to thank again Mike Radice of Harbor Interfaith Services, Milia Islam Majid, and Cheryl Bentz of the South Coast Interfaith Council. I want to thank my fellow board members at the council and our most awesome video editor, Haris Saif. Until next week, let's stay safe, healthy, and let's continue helping one another. Thank you.
If you are safely able to leave your home, we invite you to help the helpers by supporting Harbor Interfaith Services in their efforts this week. There are 2 ways to help. You can drop off needed food items at the Harbor Interfaith Services main office in San Pedro. At this time, they are requesting jars of peanut butter, boxes of uncooked pasta, bags or boxes of uncooked rice, individually packaged food items like cups of noodle or fruit cups for our housing insecure, food insecure, and working poor of San Pedro. Drop-offs may be made Monday through Friday between the hours of 9 a.m. and 5 o'clock p.m. Please deliver the items to the loading dock at the back of the building. Ring the buzzer when you arrive and an employee will answer. We invite you to use a glove or other barrier when ringing the buzzer. The address for Harbor Interfaith Services main office is 670 West 9th Street in San Pedro, California, 90731. If you are unable to leave your home or you would like to mail in a donation which will be used towards purchasing food or hygiene materials, please mail your check to Harbor Interfaith Services, 670 West 9th Street in San Pedro, California, 90731. You may also make a donation online by going to their website at www.harborinterfaith.org. We invite you to connect with the South Coast Interfaith Council by following our Facebook page and by subscribing to our YouTube channel. If you find yourself in need of help with groceries, rent, or something else during this COVID-19 pandemic, please reach out to Harbor Interfaith Services at 310-831-0603. Again, the number is 310-831-0603. Or you may email Mike Radice at M as in Mike, RADICE at harborinterfaith.org.